Roki Sasaki isn't just struggling, he's forcing the Dodgers to make a decision they've been able to avoid for years. Because this isn't about results anymore, it's about direction. And right now, Sasaki is caught in the worst possible place for a young pitcher between identities. On the surface, the situation looks manageable. 3 starts, a 6.23 ERA. Command issues, yes, but flashes of strikeout ability still there. 6 strikeouts in his last outing. Only 2 earned runs despite 5 walks. You can convince yourself it's progress. You can tell the story. He's adjusting, learning, finding his footing. That's the obvious narrative. And for most teams, that would be enough to justify patience. But the Dodgers aren't most teams. They don't evaluate players based on survival. They evaluate them based on fit within a championship system. And right now, Sasaki doesn't fit cleanly anywhere. That's the real problem. Because this isn't just inconsistency, it's structural instability. Let's break it down. His fastball velocity is fine, upper 90s, occasionally touching elite levels, but velocity without shape or command doesn't play at this level. Right now, his fastball is getting hit hard, not because hitters are guessing right, but because the pitch is landing in predictable zones, either too hittable or completely out of reach. There's no in between. That's a sequencing issue. Now look at the splitter, his signature weapon. It still moves. It still looks elite. But major league hitters aren't chasing it. That's the adjustment gap. In Japan, that pitch generated swings because hitters committed earlier. In MLB, hitters track deeper. They recognize spin or lack of it longer. So the same pitch that used to dominate is now being identified and ignored. That changes everything because now Sasaki doesn't have a reliable out pitch. And without that, every count becomes more dangerous. That's why the walk rate is so high. He's trying to be perfect because he knows mistakes are getting punished. And that leads to even more misses. It's a feedback loop. Now here's the deeper issue. This isn't just mechanical. It's philosophical. The Dodgers don't yet know which version of Sasaki they're developing. Are they trying to recreate the NPB version? High strikeout, splitter dominant, aggressive sequencing? Or are they trying to build a new version tailored to MLB hitters? More fastball command, more contact management, more sequencing variety? Right now it looks like both. And that's the worst place to be because development requires clarity, and Sasaki is operating without it. Here's the hidden factor that defines this entire situation. The Dodgers can afford to be wrong. That changes everything. Most teams would already have made a decision. Send him down, fix the mechanics, reduce the pressure. But the Dodgers don't need immediate production from Sasaki. They have rotation depth. They have offensive firepower. They can absorb his struggles without it impacting their season trajectory. So instead of making a clean developmental move, they're running a live experiment at the major league level. That's rare. And it creates a different kind of pressure, not performance pressure, but evaluation pressure. Every outing isn't just about getting outs. It's about gathering data, what works, what doesn't, what version of Sasaki is viable. That's why he's still in the rotation. Not because he's earned it, but because the Dodgers are still trying to understand him. The turning point is coming soon. And it won't be triggered by one bad start. It will be triggered by roster pressure. When Blake Snell returns, when innings need to be allocated more efficiently, when postseason structure starts to matter. At that point, the Dodgers won't have the luxury of ambiguity. They'll need a defined role: starter, reliever, or developmental project in AAA. And that decision will reveal how they truly view him. Here's what they should do, and it's not the obvious answer. They shouldn't rush to send him down, but they also shouldn't keep treating him like a traditional starter. They need to simplify his role immediately. Shorter outings, 3 to 4 innings max. Limit exposure, reduce pitch mix complexity, focus on fastball command and one secondary pitch, likely the splitter. Right now, he's trying to manage too many variables at once. Simplification creates clarity. Clarity creates repeatability, and repeatability is the foundation he's missing. At the same time, they need to commit to a developmental identity. Pick a direction. Either rebuild the dominant version of Sasaki or construct a new one, but don't blend the two. Because that's what's causing the inconsistency. Long term, the upside is still there. The raw traits haven't disappeared. Velocity is intact. The splitter still flashes elite movement. But raw traits don't guarantee success at this level. They need structure around them. And right now, that structure is undefined. For the Dodgers, this is a luxury problem. They can't afford patience, they can afford experimentation. But even for them, there's a limit. Because postseason baseball doesn't reward uncertainty, it punishes it. And if Sasaki doesn't stabilize into a clear role before October, he becomes unusable in high leverage situations. That's the real risk. Not that he fails, but that he becomes irrelevant when it matters most. In the end, this isn't about whether Sasaki is good or not. It's about whether the Dodgers can decide what he's supposed to be before the season forces that decision for them. Because right now, he's not failing. He's undefined. And in Major League Baseball, that's often worse. He was supposed to be untouchable. Now he can't find the strike zone. That's the problem the Los Angeles Dodgers didn't expect this early. Because Roki Sasaki didn't arrive as a project. He arrived as a weapon. And 3 starts in, he looks like something else entirely. 4 innings against the Texas Rangers, cut of 5 walks, 5 hits, only 2 runs allowed, but that's not the story. The story is control, or the lack of it. A 6.23 ERA, a walk rate near the bottom of the league, constantly behind in counts. That's not bad luck. That's instability, and it's forcing a real decision. What do you do with him? Because right now, Sasaki isn't dominating. He's surviving and barely. The fastball, still upper 90s. But hitters are crushing it. A .714 slugging percentage. That's not checked. That's dangerous. And his best pitch, the splitter, still electric, still unpredictable. But hitters aren't chasing it. They're watching it drop out of the zone and letting him beat himself. That's the tension, because this isn't the pitcher everyone saw in Japan. Back with Samurai Japan in an NPB, Sasaki looked unhittable. A 2.12 ERA, over 500 strikeouts in 4 seasons. He wasn't just good, he was overwhelming. So where did that version go? That's the turning point, because the Dodgers aren't just managing a struggling pitcher. They're managing 2 versions of him, the one he used to be and the one he is right now. And they haven't picked a direction. Do you rebuild him back into that dominant ace? Or do you adjust, simplify, and survive with what you have? Right now, they're stuck in between. And that's the worst place to be. Here's the reality most teams would face. Send him down. Let him reset in AAA, fix the mechanics, rebuild confidence away from the spotlight. But the Dodgers aren't most teams. They can afford this. They've got Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, a rotation that can carry the weight. So Sasaki becomes something else, an experiment. Every 6th day, they roll him out, not because they need him, but because they're trying to figure him out. That's the impact. Wins and losses, not urgent. Development is, because eventually this won't be optional. When the postseason gets closer, when margins shrink, when every inning matters, they won't have time for uncertainty. And that decision is coming fast, especially with Blake Snell expected back soon. So here are the real options. Keep running him out there and risk damage to his confidence. Send him down and risk delaying his adjustment to MLB hitters. Move him to the bullpen and simplify everything fast. None of them are perfect. That's why this matters. Because Sasaki isn't just another arm. He's the most unpredictable piece on the most stable team in baseball. And right now, nobody, not even the Dodgers, knows which version of him is real. One start at Coors Field is coming. One more test. One more risk. Because if this keeps going the same way, the decision won't be complicated anymore. It'll be forced.